we're going to dive headfirst into the pretty wild and, super expensive world of trade shows. It's a whole industry built on handshakes and bright lights and, let's be honest, massive, massive investments. But what actually separates a successful show from a failure? Well, I'm going to bet it's not what you think. I mean, just let this quote sink in for a second. That's what we're talking about. Companies are basically building a temporary house, a storefront, on a concrete floor for just 3 days. The stakes are just incredibly high. So to really get what's going on here, we're going to see it all through the eyes of somebody who has spent decades right there on the exhibit floor building a business from the ground up. Meet Richard Urshick. For 22 years, his entire multi-million-dollar company's survival depended on one single critical thing. Could the exhibitors he worked for turn those leads they were gathering into actual money? That's not some textbook theory. That's real-world, keep-the-lights-on pressure. Now, if you've ever been part of a trade show, you know there's let's call it a standard list of frustrations. We'll call them the usual suspects. And yup, here they are. Sound familiar? Trying to tell a union crew what to do when you're literally not allowed to touch your own stuff, or watching two electricians take an hour to plug in one little light. My personal favorite? Spending half your day just trying to hunt down a forklift driver. These are the classic war stories from the trenches, right? But here's the twist. And this comes from decades of experience. As frustrating as all that is, the electricians, they aren't the real problem. And nope, even after that half-day scavenger hunt, the forklift drivers aren't the fundamental issue either. So, here's the kicker. Even the trade show itself, with all its beautiful, organized chaos, isn't the real reason why so many exhibitors fail to see a return on that huge investment. The real problem, the one that kills the ROI, happens after the show floor is empty. It's about what doesn't happen once the lights go out. This is where that massive investment truly lives or dies. And this right here, this maps it out perfectly. Okay, so the badges get scanned, the booth comes down, the crates are shipped off, the leads get handed to the sales team, and then crickets, a total collapse. The follow-up completely falls apart. This is the exact moment of failure. And what this all comes down to is a complete lack of accountability. You see, when that follow-up process just quietly dies, nobody's really responsible. The sales team's exhausted, they're back to their day jobs, and suddenly that stack of badges doesn't seem so urgent. So sales might blame marketing, marketing points the finger back at sales, and the exhibitor, they're left holding the bag, completely unable to prove their ROI. And this, of course, turns into a massive headache for the show organizers themselves. When exhibitors can't prove their ROI, what do? They complain. Renewing them for next year's show? Suddenly that's a really tough sell. And trying to get new exhibitors? Well, that takes a whole lot more convincing. The confidence in the show just starts to erode. So, after watching this same cycle happen over and over for decades, Richard Urshick built a solution. And this wasn't dreamed up in a classroom, it was forged in the fire of real-world accountability, and it was designed specifically for organizers to solve this exact problem. Okay, so let's be really clear. This training is not just another generic pre-show checklist. It's not about booth design or how to use social media. No, it is laser-focused on the 3 things that actually move the needle on ROI. Targeted pre-show invitations, how to qualify a lead on the floor, and most importantly, a structured, prioritized follow-up system. And the credibility here, well, it speaks for itself. The process that's taught was literally shaped by the high-stakes systems Richard's company managed for giants like IBM, 3M, HP, and Honeywell. I mean, with clients like that, if the leads didn't convert, his company didn't survive. That's what accountability looks like. This is so important. We have to completely reframe how we think about ROI. It is not decided in those 3 days on the show floor. That's just step 1, the initial contact. The real work and the real measurement, it happens 30, 60, even 90 days later through that disciplined follow-up and nurturing process. So what's in it for the show organizers who give this training to their exhibitors? Well, this is where it all comes together in a really clear, really powerful mutual win. It's really just a simple, direct relationship. When you give your exhibitors the tools to perform better and actually see their results, you, the organizer, you directly benefit from their success. It's that simple. And this table just lays it out perfectly. It's cause and effect.
When exhibitors learn to measure their performance in a new way, what do organizers get? They get powerful ROI stories to tell. And when exhibitors learn to follow up in a different way, organizers get more confident, way easier renewals. It completely changes the whole conversation.
You know, this whole thing is a solution for show organizers who are truly invested in seeing their exhibitors succeed. It's about helping them perform at a higher level, which is so much more valuable than just trying to get them to spend more money on a bigger booth. And that really brings us to the one question that determines everything. When the noise is gone, the crates are all shipped, the invoices are paid, it all comes down to this. Did your exhibitors actually follow up? If you want to make absolutely sure the answer to that question is a yes, you can learn more about how to bring this training to your show at exhibitortrainingwebinar.com.